everyone, this is Zaza.
I'm Fix.
Welcome to
The Walk.
The Walk of Transgenderism. We are here! We are getting into business.
I think we've just entered in uncharted territory now. Yeah.
Oh, we're welcoming our lovely guest today.
Noma!
My bestie, Noma. She's joining us. Actually, Noma, it's the first time she's joining on The Walk with Noma.
No, it's the second
she's
time.
done relationship
She's
with
done-
us. But she's never done a proper one, just her.
No.
The relationship one we can't include on that one.
No, she's done her own.
No!
You have never.
No,
So
this
this
is
is.
friend. Why
Why do I think you have an episode? You don't.
No.
I
I never got the chance to.
Wow. Okay. So that's gonna be interesting. And then you decide to come into a deep topic like this one.
No man knows about Amatrans. Let's hear what Noma has to say about Amatrans. Anyways, before we get deep on it, let's let Prefix.
Okay.
Fill us in.
So transgenderism is known. It's broken down into two, which is transvestite and then transsexual. So the transvestite one is. This term is usually grouped together with cross-dressers and is used to refer to individuals who like to dress in what would conventionally be worn by the opposite gender and act in the manner as well. For instance, you can have heterosexual males wearing traditional feminine clothing and acquiring feminine mannerism. And then transsexual is, the term is used to refer to individuals who refuse to accept the gender they were assigned at birth and even take medical steps to change different aspects of their body to match the gender that they believe they are. So those are the two ones, which is very interesting for me because especially how the topic is now, because we don't even know what a woman is, at least in that mainstream. So then you'd argue with the transsexual, what do they mean by changing yourself into the gender that, you'd want to be? Because do you have to dress as a dress to be a woman? Do you have to, act in a certain way? At least the argument there.
Yeah, it will be really good for them to actually say what is a woman.
And no one has an
definition
answer
of a
for it.
woman.
Yeah.
Because a woman feels what it is to be.
Yeah,
a woman. To a guy, you can't say what it is to be a woman. You can just be like a woman.
Yeah.
But you cannot be a woman. You can go change in. That's how I feel. That's how I think. You can go change in, but you never really get to that thing of a woman.
And I think,
Is it not that people they define of what is a woman in terms of how they feel?
they feel. I think the determination now is how you feel.
So how does a woman feel?
But the thing is, it's dynamic as well, But I think for them, it's more the mannerism or how women act in terms of. Well, the generalization of how women act in terms of dressing up in skirts and high heels and all of that. But would that also include the, emotional side of things? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they can't have a period. They can't have...
They would never be. That's what I'm saying. They won't be like women. But they can never be a woman. There's so many things that women go through, periods, all of these things. They don't go through that. They can go whatever that's been done, but you can never be a woman. A woman is a woman. A woman knows how a woman should be like. About like emotions, everything. About you can go and now you're shy trans change yourself, but you won't grab Zaza. That woman is like that woman thing.
Probably we are more basing on the transgender from being a male to a woman. What about those ones? You can see same-sex relationships What about those ones who act as male in those relationships?
That's I always question. I always question this.
Interesting one.
Yes, because
is it saying that they feel like men?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think even for the longest time, everyone would always ask, like, if it's a man and a man, they'll ask, who's the woman in the relationship?
Yes.
Or if it's a woman and a woman, who's the man in the relationship? I think it's the interest of, okay, from how we've always grown up, but there's a man, there's a woman. So, like, it's sort of like who takes the more masculine side of the relationship, and then who takes the more feminine side of the relationship.
But again, if you're looking at it like that, in all relationships, there's sometimes even there's one who is more masculine than the other, despite
definitely.
whether they're a woman or they're a male. So you cannot really define what a woman is, what is a man is.
But here's where my confusion is. Is it a thing of should that affect the people that are not affected by it? And what I mean by, okay, heterosexual, couples and all of that have it clear because it's been something that has been bedrocked from, the days of whenever. It's been a long time. And then here comes this new thing, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. So should it be a thing of us now having to shift our ideology to move into this ideology without even understanding? Because it's a thing of we even afraid to say, look guys, I don't understand, let alone I can say, okay, this is what it is. I haven't even brought an opinion because I'm yet to even understand this. And it's a thing of, everyone is expected to just understand something that just boom dropped a few years ago.
It can't, you can't expect people to sort of, okay, I'm not gonna say we can't expect people not to accept you, but this thing
no, that's fine.
People can accept what you want to be. That bit you are okay. This is what one man wants to be. Leave it like that. But give that person time. There is so much that you need to deal with. I mean, like even in families that you'd find that you are with a child, then after this your child is changing and this thing, you need to you still need to register this thing in your mind. What is going on? What has changed? What did I? You'll be thinking so many things. So it's good for those people like Amatrans or whatever to give that person an opportunity to know, even if you have to explain
and grow into
it, and then you understand what's in. Because I don't think I would see people would sort of hate or whatever in something that they don't understand. Okay, yes, there is people who are. Who just don't even want to change their mind, and that. But it will be good to actually know, to be educated about that, to have awareness. So this is how it functions. This is how Because the thing is, right now we can sit here and say, it's like this, it's like that, but we don't know what they're feeling as well.
Exactly.
We don't know what they're going through as well. They're facing discrimination all the time. We don't know what they are facing. But for them to make that decision, there must be something. So it's good for us as people as well to understand. Okay, this is the part where you need to understand what changed. What made that person that? What made this person that? It can be different things.
And it's not the same for
it's
everyone.
Not the same.
It's like an individual based.
Because I remember there was a doctor in South Africa, one of the doctors who changed because of marriage. He just couldn't stand this. He was in a sexual marriage with a woman and a man. Everything was fine. Then the relationship went wrong, and then this guy, so many wrong relationships. I'm gonna go now, man to man.
That takes me back, Zandi, to the fact like now it's more in schools. Our children, they are sort of like it's acceptable for them to choose as the sex who they want to be, but they're still growing. You're talking of probably 40, 50-year-old men who change. Of course. Let alone children who are still growing and developing and growing even the personality themselves, and then it is acceptable or that they can choose their sex now. I don't think it's really right.
They shouldn't be going that deep.
I think I really feel, especially for kids, that's where I draw the line, and I think it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's totally wrong. We weren't going to school and being told, oh, you are sexually attracted to a girl when we were young. They never told us. Like, I never grew up at school and they kept on telling me, you're sexually attracted to a girl. I don't think they should be teaching kids that they could be sexually attracted to boys, because being gay is talking about your sexuality, what you are sexually attracted to.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's appropriate to talk, to kids about that.
No.
And then also about their gender. Like, I was never taught about, I'm a boy and this is what boys do and all of that. It's like you grow up getting to understand. And if it's a natural transition, let's let it be natural and not campaign about it to be a thing of involving kids. And at the same time, we need to respect people's cultures and people's religions. Because I think that's another thing that's being forgotten. It's not like we're disrespecting transgender needs to be respected. But I feel like it's being respected at the expense of other people's rights. And I think that's unfair. Because if we're going to fight about rights, let's fight about all rights. Not pick and choose what rights to be fought and what rights. So let's be saying, okay, fine. In school, let's not involve this political transgender thing. The same way you wouldn't be teaching kids about being heterosexuals or being anything. Let's not involve kids there. Let's let kids grow. Once kids grow, at the age of 18, then they can decide. Because how far will we go to say kids have the mental capacity to concern? Because, we right now are saying that kids cannot concerned in sex until they're 16 years old. But a kid that's capable of, at the age of 11, choose their gender, should be able to choose who they want to sleep with. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think we need to be careful how we sort of move in this direction, because it's a very dangerous direction if we're just rushing it without really thinking of the consequences.
Confusion.
The confusion of transgender.
Shall we go there on about that guy that you were telling me about the other time? That one, the prison guy.
So what happened is, I think everyone knows. So there's this thing. So Nicola Sturgeon was the first minister in Scotland. And so I think she was pushing this, transgender, activism policy, And so this guy, what happened is, in Scotland, he got he got charged, and he said he was a woman, And so, without doing anything, without changing anything, he's a man. So they sent him to prison. And whole and behold, 2 women get pregnant. So now, I don't think he only slept with those 2 women. But it so happened that it's 2 women who got pregnant. And so, it's a thing of, how far do we take this thing of, can you wake up and just say, you're a woman?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, if we say, okay, we're waiting for 2 years, but what in that 2 years do you have to do? Because if you wear pants where you play soccer and all of that, does that mean you can't be a woman? It's so confusing. And the more, they're expanding on it, bringing things like non-binary and all of those things, you go like, I can't keep up. And then I think they have now like 145 genders. Now you have to go to university to study this. Wow. You mean to be able to socialize with you, I have to go to university.
145,
it's crazy. I think it was published by the BBC.
Wow.
There are 145 genders.
Wow. And then there's this non-binary. That one is so interesting.
That one is but to what point do you then say, okay, you're non-binary? Fine, you're non-binary, but how do you dress? Do you dress as a what? Half.
One day you are like a female, one day you are like a
you
male.
wake up in the morning, you're a man.
It depends what mood you are in.
It's I don't know. I really
it makes me wonder though. Which this thing is not mental health now though. But it's just getting too deep.
Well, it's interesting how
it was nice, laid up, simple. Okay, this is that finish. I imagine. It's like now there's even more. I don't know if it's the mental health.
I think
it's the ones that's going.
The big
there.
issue as well, Zaza, is how they are forcing it into us.
Yeah.
Into the people. It's one thing to say, okay, can I be respected to, dress the way I want, to see myself as the way I want, and all of that. But now, we are now being expected to then acknowledge it in that way and all of that. And it's so funny, like, you hear people like Keir Starmer who don't even know what a woman is. Keir Starmer is so old, he should know what a woman is. When he was 18 years old, what did he think a woman was? He could clearly tell you at that. When did he start changing? And I think politicians are playing into that as well. But again, you can never expect honesty when it comes to politicians anyways. So they even creating more confusion into this thing. So
it's not. So just not on the same topic. There's a case that I remember I was looking at it. Someone who claimed that they were actually white and she was claiming to be black. Yeah. So it's how you
in
really,
America. Yeah, in America.
So is it how you feel about? I really don't get it.
It's but it's
so it's about you. This in the morning you're waking up as a woman, night you are a man.
Then you're waking up as white and
then I'm waking up as black.
But the thing is, they do argue though. When it comes to race, that it's not a spectrum of like you're actually black. Because like if you go to the origins you'd find your DNA in this culture and that culture and so you're a mixture of so many different thingy. Just a laughable one. So we had this traditional doctor, the traditional sangomas, sangomas in. So I think apparently we had accidents within the whole clan of our family. So they called this sangoma, So this. So this sangoma first says there's this guy who never had children in the family. So no one has ever done work for him. So he's asking for us to do something for him. Get
stuff
like ceremony, alcohol and all of that. Then he says, the wife is also crying. He says, why are you only doing for the husband? Do it for the wife. For the wife as well. Now this is where it gets interesting. We finished for the wife. He says, now there's a white guy in your family.
He wants a cow.
So we're like, why did we ever have a white? So we're trying to figure out in the family, like now we're looking at the light-skinned people in the family. What is?
Honestly, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is when it comes to race, it because there are people who've been two black people giving birth to a white person, two white people giving birth to a black person and all that. So that one at some and also there's not a lot you need to understand in it. It's just that you're black. I think when it comes to transgender,
it's not that fixed. It's about how that person feels. That I feel I'm white and I feel like I am a white person. So that's what it matters. It's the same as the transgenders. It's how they feel. If they feel they're men at that point, they're men at that point. And whether they've got male genitals or not.
But so I think for me, I can respect that where it's easier for, you know, so let's say a black person say I'm a white person, that way it ends. I think it gets more complicated when it comes to the transgender.
But you may never
scenario.
know. Probably at some point they'll say, I don't have a color. It can get
No,
so
no,
bad.
With the way things are going now, I will not even be shocked.
When we ask whether you, which race are you, I don't have a race.
I don't have a race. Yeah.
But at least it's a thing of, let's say, okay, you're saying you don't have a race, but then if I say I am black and this is what being black means, you don't have a problem with that. Whereby with this transgender scenario, the minute we say a woman is a female, is a female adult, then it becomes a huge issue, because, you know, now a woman, you can't just judge them by what the biological, genes are. It's more, it's a thing of how I feel more than what the biology says. And so it's a thing of now, just saying what a woman is can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Just a simple thing as saying what a woman is. And I think that's where I feel the transgender, issue is getting out of hand. Because it's a thing of, it's one thing to say respect me, it's another thing now to want to change everybody's paradigm to be this. Everyone should think like this. And I think that's a bit, unfair and, being dictatorship.
Yeah. Wow, that's food of the spirit.
So again, I think we are talking about complications, isn't it? So for me, I think what complicates the whole issue is, especially when I'm thinking that I've got little ones, or sometimes you're in a restaurant, you send them they want to use a toilet, you just say go to the toilet, and there is someone who's in the process of who's a transgender, they are using the same toilet as my kid.
It's a thing
It's
of
wrong.
Like in changing rooms in swimming pools. So how do you sometimes they just change in the
when I'm changing, I get naked.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I don't want a female there, and so it's a thing of like, every aspect of our livelihood and how we sort of have known things to be is changing very fast, and they're not waiting for us to at least keep up with it. By the time you oh, now I'm understanding this, no, you're too late, because they were already talking about something else, and you're
not giving
take
that opportunity.
Take
it's
us
true.
there. It was my argument when I think it was 2006 when South Africa passed the gay law, where the gays had the right to marriage. And I think my thinking was, I didn't have a problem with that, but they didn't take people to that, because if you look in South Africa is African, to be honest, when it comes to this issue. It's just that I don't know where they came up with this modern thing of putting that into law without even taking people to that. So it was a thing of, we're still learning this, and it was a boom. It's law, gay marriage. You're like, what?
Do you know what? The funny one, I was watching this show on Showmax. This traditional healer is actually done polygamy with gays. It's on another level.
But to be funny,
this Sangoma, he's like people who would come and twassa, do the twassering bit, and then he has males, and then he ends up making them his wives. They're women, they're males.
But there's a thing called it's where the sangomas get to, they all stay in one room. That's like an orgy living. Honestly, I'm saying that because a friend of mine honestly, I'm telling you the truth, a friend of mine had a friend of mine had a girlfriend who was a sangoma, and she apparently was bisexual, because in that Ngondla she had this girl that she was busy with, and then these things are happening. So a lot of sangoma, you'd find a lot of these bisexual tendencies happening there.
because they say ukuthi ba amadoda ngoba uthwasile so I'm a female then bazothi so njinjile so umkhulu bani they even call him, but they even say even when they come to when you're already in your thing then but yebo mkhulu yebo mkhulu because when they say talking siyathokoza mkhulu so because they have to you are mkhulu now you are normal umazansi so njinjile so
mkhulu so you have to have a wife to sort you out
so mkhulu has to have a wife who's
and in that I don't know I think I'm saying it wrong but in those landuk they stay all together and they'll stay for a week and all of that and they're just enjoying themselves.
This guy caught up to guys.
In that note, guys.
The point is we need to respect each other, guys. It doesn't matter. I can choose to be who I want to be. I can be who I want to be. Whether I am non-binary, whether I'm with my transvestite, whether I'm transsexual, just respect my decision. You know, let's just respect it. You know, respect each other. Respect what we can be who we want to be. We can be with who we want to be with. You know, if I'm gonna choose to face and fix, then let me join with my fix.
I'm a man, by the way.
I'm a man, by the way. Non-binary. For now.
We don't know what's happening later.
Yeah, so we're coming there. We're talking. It's all about respect, guys. You know,
and it's important, you know, just to be able to coexist with one another.
Yeah,
you know, be able to respect the fact that okay, this is who I'm choosing to be. You know, this is who I want to be, but also respect the fact that, you know, I'm yet to understand this choosing of yours. So I'll respect you, you know, but give me a chance to understand it, you know, because the thing is, the greatest miss would be us fighting over something that could easily be sorted out, be resolved. Yeah. You know, it's like, let me allow you to do you and allow me to do me. You know, so let's respect each other's rights, let's just respect each other's freedoms, and if they are being infringed, that means I should be partnering with you to ensure that those freedoms are not infringed either side of the coin, you know. And so that's important for us to, you know, try and stay respectful of one another.
I'm not sure, because I'm thinking that probably the reason why probably we're talking about this is because those people who feel they are different, they will try to enforce that they enforce or want to be acknowledged of who they are. So it's more like a fight for being the same. Making sense. So sometimes when you, let's say we especially some of us, we work with people, we answer on the phone and then you say how are you or refer them to as she, they quickly at that point start to argue or be kind of offended about it, but because they're trying to make a point and educate you at that point, at that time, but you will feel threatened or accused because you don't understand that they're trying to fight for their rights as well. So I guess that's where it comes back to that. It's about education and respect as well. But you don't educate people. Sometimes you don't know that person has changed.
And you know, the other thing that I really want to point out, we don't know what that person has been through. You don't know why that person wants to change until you understand, until you've got like a thorough understanding. You see why Uzaza was like this. All of a sudden Uzaza, why? You know, to have that understanding, hey, maybe she must have gone in there, you know, or give her a chance. Maybe she will tell you one day when she's ready to tell you, see, this is the reason why I'm like this and I'm like that. Yes, is it acceptable in the Bible? No. You know, it's not something that is acceptable, but is it here now? It's here now. So we can't ignore it.
But there are so many things that we do that are not acceptable in the Bible.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I also want to correct as well, is that because we are uncomfortable with the whole transgender thing, we are masking it as God.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying, it's acceptable, but we, instead of being honest and saying, no, these are my emotions about this, we are hiding it and saying God.
Yeah.
We don't know, what God's, okay, we know God's stand, but we don't know, in what extent, God is aggrieved by this, instead of us creating the stand from our own, perspective, and so it's a thing of, even a preacher, even a Christian should say, no, I'm speaking from my perspective. It's not like you went and had a conversation with God in heaven and God said, because A, B, C, D and A, B, C, D, it's clear, okay, it's unbiblical, but we're not sure exactly the stand of God. But if you listen to the pastors, it's as if they had a nice conversation with God and God was like, it's A, B, C,
perfection. Yeah, they're looking for this.
And so it's a thing of, I would like pastors to first be respectful and then only speak biblically on the point, and not speak on their emotion and make it as if it's biblical. And I think that there's a deep issue there, because and also we need to understand, are they fighting to be recognized biblically, or are they fighting to be recognized socially? And those are two different things as well. Because
the thing is, we are all God's children. That's how I see it. We are all God's children. I can come today with one leg, or I've started this way, I've started that way. Maybe I can even stop all of those things and then move back. We try different things all the time.
Unless you've snipped a few things.
That's why I was a snipper. Everything I tried.
Chop, yeah.
It's really interesting. But how you could be just snitched.
I am angered by the fact that young kids are being, I don't mind them, Nanem, if a young child says they want to wear dresses, they want to play with dolls. Okay, fine, that's fine. But to go to the extent of changing and transforming a child's body
from putting that, because they're putting it here, and the power
and the research says 80% of these young kids, when they grow up, they grow out of it. So you're trying to tell me the person has all these and he's grown out of it, and it's like, so sorry guys.
I now. I'm going to try to add. Might know what's now. I'm doing lessons.
Yeah. So it really is a thing of respecting one another, and being patient with one another. Definitely. On both sides, because we need patience, they need patience, and it's a thing of, okay, we'll understand each other, but let's not involve our kids into this. It's confusing alone, with adults. Let's just let kids grow up, and once they grow up, they'll be able to. They will find out. They
will catch up anyways. There's no need to be knowing anything. They will catch up. Just sitting with your children, explaining to like, come on. She will catch up. She will see how the world is. Son goes. I don't need to be, telling her things that have nothing to do with her age. Right now, she needs to focus on this, study, do her school things, blah blah blah. Finish.
And be a child.
Yeah, embrace it. Just embrace it.
Play.
No, definitely.
Just play. Yeah.
So we need to respect all the way. That's all for today. Yes. We had a great time, Sister Richard.
Yes, we did. Hope to see you soon on our next episode.
Oh yes. Bye.